Welcome once again to Racer TV's coverage of the Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. It's a cold, chilly morning here in Crawfordsville, Indiana, but these fans are already fired up. It's the biggest spectator crowd of the year watching our ATV riders compete in this, the AMSOIL Ironman GNCC. Don't mind the language, folks. This is our pink race for breast cancer awareness. Plenty to do on hand for all these people, including the mechanical bull just next to the podium. But of course, the most fun event for the spectators is watching the riders get on the side of the track and checking them out as they climb Ironman Hill. Here are your track facts. It's a 12-mile track. We race for 2 hours here with our ATVs. We think we'll get 5 laps in, and look at all those spectators that are here to watch the action unfold. There's nothing quite like the Ironman GNCC, and we're pumped to bring it to you. Chris Borich is your series points leader, and he hopes for a race win today that can help him lock up the series title. With all this mud, all these hills, all these obstacles, it is not going to be easy for him. Even got the fireworks going off here at the start. Perfect way for me to use an overused cliche phrase. That's just the beginning of the explosive action you're about to see today. Let's send it down to Rodney Tomlin with the famous GNCC 10-second start call.
And rail number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at our AMSOIL Ironman GNCC.
Putting the power down to the ground. Oh, and Taylor Kaiser. Well, that power's not going down to the ground. His body is. He is upside down. It's Jared McClure, backed by Yoakley Racing in the National Guard on a Honda, who is out front, and Kaiser picks himself back up and is back in this race. But he's got a long way to go. Also a terrible start there for the number 4, Chris Bithell. At the number 10, Johnny Gallagher right in front of him. There is the 16 of McClure leading them into the woods with a rare good start from Adam McGill right behind him on the Can-Am. So it's the Honda in front of the Can-Am early, and you see the pack's been broken up. That crash by Kaiser. Brian Cook right there behind him, and Brian Wolf on the 341. He has won races before, so a lot of the big hitters are way back. But not Chris Borich, who has quickly worked up to second. McGill has taken the lead. McClure back to third. And McClure has gotten some good starts this year. He is definitely learning to run this torrid pace. These guys are going to run out front. Did I just see Kaiser come through up front? That seems almost impossible. So he was upside down in turn 1 and now knocking on the door of Kevin Yoho, trying to get into the top 5. Gallagher, Bithell, and Wolf. Boy, they got to try to hitch a ride with him. Here we go, under the bridge and heading up to Ironman Hill for the first time today. You see leaves are down. Hard to figure out the right lines early in this one. That was Kaiser already up to third, and he has indeed pulled Chris Bithell with him. They've gotten around Yoho, and there's Wolf. So they have hitched a ride. Unbelievable. When you're riding, look at how narrow this track can be in sections. It's not easy to make passes, but Kaiser has done it. He is now within sight of McGill and Borich. He is a house of fire coming through the pack, and I know it's been a disappointing season for Kaiser, who has yet to win a race this year after challenging Chris Borich for the championship through much of 2010. Definitely not from lack of effort. He has been training hard, riding hard. Bill Balance and the Yamaha boys doing a great job developing that machine. He's just not had the brakes go his way, but he is, as they say, making his own luck here at Indiana, and so is Brian Wolf, finding some new lines. So as we were saying, a rare good start for McGill, who's out front, but rarely do you get this type of pressure early on. He's got Borich, a hard-charging Kaiser, Bithell, Wolf, and the rest all right there. So this is going to be a good race, a good opportunity for guys like Yoho. And the number 9 you saw there, Jeff Pickens, to get a look at what it takes. This is the fast gang of 2011 right now as you're looking at McGill, Borich, Kaiser, Wolf, Bithell. Those have been the guys that have won the races this year. But on this type of track, we've already seen you can make passes, you can get aggressive, you can be rewarded for that. So we'll see if anyone else can hang with them. And someone is, the number 5, Donnie Ackerman, on the Jet suspension Honda. Donnie O got a lot of fans out here in Indiana, and he has ridden well on this track before. So we'll see if the number 5 can work on a podium or maybe even a victory today. He's got a good opportunity off the start, but I'm telling you, this track has a little bit of everything as you watch Ackerman go by. You have the tight woods, the rocks, the mud, the hill climbs, and then this, These trademark high-speed passes through the cornfields, and look at Chris Borch trying to set up McGill to make a move for the lead with Kaiser right behind them. Kaiser's got to be feeling like he's been held up. He's passed about 15 riders already. He would love to just get by those two and set sail, but it's not going to be easy when you get a fast pack like this. Stay with us on Racer TV. Give you the highlights of our morning race today in Indiana. This is where your utility machines do battle, as well as the women's class, super seniors, and the beginner riders. Off the start, big battle here in this utility unlimited division. The rider in orange, Cliff Beasley, finally lost a race at our last event in Ohio. He had won every round last year and every round this year until now. We'll see if he can start a new streak today. Here is your women's class. Tracy Checo has already wrapped up her 8th career championship and first win in 2 years, and she is out front right now, running the 8X and got the 201. Last year's champ, Kristen Atwell, right behind her. That is always a good race, that women's class. And you've got the utility open class, a torrid championship battle there between Brian Buchanan and Michael Swift, and Zach Sikowski, the whole shot master, looking for some wins as well. There's an example of how four-wheel drive helps on these big hill climbs, especially in the morning. Even more leads down, even harder to see the right lines. The utility unlimited class, they run the Can-Am Renegades and the Kawasaki KFX 700s primarily. Here's your women's class. They are allowed to ride 450s. It looks like a great battle. That's Angel Atwell there, her niece Kristen Atwell in the hunt, Checo, and also Lexi Coulter on the Can-Am. And look at them chasing each other through. You'd think you're watching the pro class as these women twist and turn their way through this very tricky Ironman course. One other rider to watch for is Dave Simmons on the 202. He is your super senior champion and often runs up front in the overall. Tell how cold the weather is this morning when the hot engines hit the water, steam comes pouring out. That's what ATV riding and racing is all about. There is Simmons. He would move into the overall lead. There is Zakowski supporting the cause here today and leading that open 4x4 class. Yeah, real men ride pink. And he's going to hold on to take the win in the class. Your overall, though, no stopping Dave Simmons. Not bad for a 50-plus man to take your overall win. Zakowski there with the nice scarf and hat is second. Checo is third, but even bigger for her. This allows her to officially wrap up that women's championship, and the Yamaha crew helps her pumped on that. Going to go back to our afternoon race here, and it continues to be McGill in the lead. And just for a moment, the battle is stabilized, but I don't think that's going to last very long. Looks like Borch still comfortable in second. Here comes the crew. Bithell third, Kaiser fourth, and McClure has been the one who has hooked back up with the leaders. So, like we said, this is a great opportunity for some of these other riders to learn the pace. And McClure, who has gotten good starts this year, has steadily been improving, is showing the stuff to stay with these guys a couple of laps into what should be a 5-lap race. Woods are a little more open here in Indiana than some of the other rounds, but what also helps is when you race later in the year, you can see a lot of the leaves are gone from the trees, and the riders get a better view of the good lines in the woods, where to make passes and where to get a good run at the top of this hill. And here we are through the mud, and you're saying to yourself, isn't this a race? Why are the guys taking it so easy down there? Well, it's so cold. You do not want to blast through there and get water under your goggles and onto your gloves. So they try to go just fast enough, but not so fast that the water splashes up over the handlebars. On the last lap, anything goes, and you'll take a chance and go for it. But you do not want to be soaked in a 2-hour event. And when you're racing for 2 hours, the 1 or 2 seconds you can make up by blasting through the water is going to make a huge difference anyway. Very calculated, this game. Here we are back into the cornfields. McGill, as always, throwing a little body English there, acknowledging the fans on the side of the track. The kid out of West Virginia, definitely one of the best personalities in the game. He is a fun-loving kind of guy. There are those that love him, there are those that hate him. But if you're part of the McGill Mafia, you are pumped up right now because your man is out front. How about McClure? He means business today, not intimidated at all. He wants to go for a podium as McGill continues to lead. Borch, now it's Kaiser and Bithell. Kaiser and Bithell just flipping that third place spot back and forth. I thought Kaiser might have the stuff to go all the way to the #1 spot, but he's going to try to play the strategy game now that he's gotten back to the front. maybe wait until a little later, put on the charge. Now Kaiser's teammate is Walker Fowler. Oh, Borch going to try to run an outside line and make the move on McGill. And McGill able to shut the door. Now Borch often waits for later in the races to make his move, but today he wants to just get out front. He did that last year of this race and absolutely dominated it. All right, 3 laps down and 2 to go, so we are just past the halfway mark here in Indiana, and the top 4 have broken away. Now it's time for pit stops. Fresh tank of gas. Looks like no goggle change, actually, for McGill. That's the difference of being up front. Everyone else is stopping for new lenses. Oh, but Borch slips into the lead. They got to fight to get him back. It's not going to be easy. Stay tuned. All right, folks, welcome back to Racer TV. Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series, next to last round of the year. Adam McGill out front has led the majority of this race. Chris Borch right behind him. Taylor Kaiser, Chris Bithell, the usual suspects right there in contention, setting themselves up for what should be a dramatic last lap. McGill's got 2 wins on the season, and he's only missed the podium in 3 races out of 12 so far this year, so he is definitely consistent. Look at Ironman Hill. The lines have opened up, left side, right side, struggling to the top is Bithell. The fans watching it all. There is nothing, as I said, quite like this Ironman GNCC. This event actually is named after Bob Sloan, a multi-time GNCC ATV champion who passed back in the 1990s. So they are holding a race here in his home state of Indiana. And a lot of Bob Sloan supporters still out here in the woods, and they're watching the best in the game 2011. And Chris Borch has actually been shuffled back a bit into the back of the top 5, and Kaiser has taken the lead. So we were wondering where all that speed was after Kaiser went from last to 3rd. Apparently he was waiting for his opportunity to strike. Borch and McGill must have gotten tangled because Bithell is up to 2nd. And look at this, Jared McClure is in 3rd. So McGill and Borch are 4th and 5th. They have to regroup after battling for the lead. That's how quickly things can change in this game. They're headed back into the woods. So Taylor Kaiser, yet to win a race here in 2011, has a golden opportunity to do it right now. He definitely is fast enough. We know the machine is capable. Chris Bithell showing you how many different ways there are to go. No, that is McGill back up to 2nd. Then it's Bithell, then it's Borch. So things are getting crazy here down the stretch, and McGill, in fact, has taken the lead back. He did not wait around from 5th back to 1st in the amount of a few miles. And I told you these guys would hang it out a little bit more through the water crossings late in the race, and that's exactly what McGill did. Kaiser's not going to stand for it. He wants to win bad. He's keeping the heat on McGill. Another mud hole, another little climb there. Chris Borch back in. No, he has lost a spot to, I'm telling you what, Jared McClure. Not messing around today. He wants a top 3. He wants the podium or maybe even a win. And he goes back by your GNCC champion. Now Borch gets McClure back. And I think McClure has lost some ground. He must have made a mistake of his own. From what we hear from the crews, McGill had gotten stuck on a hill, and Borch ran into them, and that's why they went to the back of this group. McGill has wasted no time getting back up front, and you look at Borch's pace, he wants to go with him. Look at Kaiser, though. Kaiser around the outside. Gonna try to squeeze McGill off, and he makes it happen. Woo, a little extra aggression from Taylor Kaiser today. He wants this win badly, you can tell. White flag is out. The top 4 are all over each other. They're not stopping for fuel or anything in the pits now. It is hammer down in the checkers. Stay with us. Battling it out through the rocks, we are headed under the big bridge and over to the Ironman hill climb for the last time in 2011 as our best ATV riders in the world do battle for the win. What a great setup we have in the last lap of this Can-Am Grand National Cross Country race. Yes, Adam McGill has been your leader most of the day, but it has not been without drama. He's gotten stuck, he's gotten run into, and he's got Taylor Kaiser and Chris Borch all over him. And there's Chris Bithell in 4th, not too far back. Kaiser was leading before he went to break, and now Chris Borch has gotten the lead. So things are changing every time we look at it. Just past the 4-mile mark, Borch must have had a line picked out, and he has taken the lead. And this is where he's so dangerous, these last laps. But no, McGill able to respond and get it back. Kaiser is there as well. Boric, the best closer in the game. Every time they have him on the ropes on these last lap charges, he seems to have picked the right line, and he does it again. He's back into the #1 spot for the second time. Kaiser's right on his rear wheels. And this is Chris Bithell. McGill has dropped to 4th, so clearly a mistake on the last lap for McGill. And I don't know if there'll be enough time for him to pull this one back off. The only hope they have is that this lap traffic is going to hold up Boric. And look how much faster again they're going through the water right now. And McGill looking to make a pass on his teammate Bithell for 3rd. Tremendous action as they're just winding these machines out. Kaiser showing Boric a wheel as they're through the fields. Closing in on the checkered flag. And time is running out. If Boric wins this race, he'll also wrap up his 3rd straight Grand National Cross Country Championship. You know these riders don't want to let it happen, especially when they can see him right in front of them. Looks like McGill has executed the pass on his teammate Bithell, but I think the mistakes in the last lap might be too much to overcome. We'll see. Boric hustling through on the Rockstar Makita Suzuki, with the Yamaha and the Can-Am of Kaiser, and McGill right behind him. Bithell losing a little bit of the pace here late in this one. Here's Chris Boric. He's done it so many times. He waits till that last lap. Kaiser has been on the receiving end of these charges too many times. He doesn't want it to happen today. But what Boric likes to do, he just finds a spot. When they're walking the track earlier in the weekend, he picks some alternate lines. He won't even look at them. He won't even touch them until the last lap, and then he pulls the ace out of the sleeve. And now it's up to Kaiser and McGill to find something extra of their own to run him down. I don't know if it's going to happen. Boric has proven to be one of the best in the business, and that's why he's closing in on his 3rd straight GNCC championship. Now, technically on points, Boric needs to finish ahead of McGill today to wrap up the title. So essentially, he needs to go out and win the race because McGill is right there in contention. But time is running out for anyone to stop the kid from Pennsylvania who grew up in this series, who had his eyes on this #1 plate for so many years, had to battle Bill Balance for it. But now that he has grasped the #1 plate, he's not ready to give it up. Chris Boric wins the Ironman and your 2011 GNCC Championship. There are the results. Nice ride by McClure. A little trouble late, drops in to 5th, but he showed he has the speed to run up front. Let's go to victory lane with Krista Shaw.
All right, Chris Boric taking home the win today and also taking home the championship title. Chris, how does it feel to take home the title for the 3rd year in a row?
It feels good. Just had a little bit of bad luck this year. But all in all, awesome year. Suzuki worked great. I can't thank my mom, my dad, everybody, my mechanic, my girlfriend, my brother, just everybody for being behind me, and all the fans out here today. Was just a great time.
How was the race overall for you?
It was a good race. I mean, we had a battle, front 4 just back and forth, and going on to the last lap, I was 4th there, and I was like, all right, time to make it happen, and pick some good lines, got by these guys, and just tried to put the hammer down and get away.
All right, well, you did a great job. Congratulations on another championship.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Boric Band and his crew celebrating here at the pink race. They got the t-shirts out, and they're pumped. That points lead is insurmountable. Still a great season for Adam McGill. Brian Wolf had some injuries today, was unable to finish this one. Hopefully he'll be back at our finale at the Red Lane Ranch. Here's your Can-Am race recap. Adam McGill was able to take the lead early. Taylor Kaiser was upside down in turn 1, but it wasn't long until the #2 Yamaha was right here behind Chris Boric. You also had Chris Bithell and Jared McClure in the hunt. 5 riders battling for it. McGill holding the lead over Boric. Then they would tangle on a hill climb and allow Taylor Kaiser to get the lead. McGill wasn't done. Here he is battling Kaiser, trying to get the #1 spot. Kaiser would get it back from him. Then Boric would take the lead in the last lap. McGill and Kaiser tried to respond, but it was too little, too late. You cannot stop the defending GNCC champion when he has the bit between his teeth on the last lap. He takes another win and another title. We've got 1 race to go this year. We'll see if anyone can stop him next week. For Krista Shaw, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us.